If you're new here, my name is Cameron. I'm a licensed esthetician, licensed aesthetics educator, and today I'm going to show you how to do a hybrid brow dye and sculpt service. What I love most about this service is it's great for several different types of brow shapes, different types of brow styles. I love that you can do an ombre effect with this service, so let's go ahead and jump into it. So first I'm going to cleanse the brows, okay? So I'm using a Pro-On lash cleanser. I use it for lashes as well as the brows to just get off any dirt and debris off of the brow hairs. This is also going to allow for the brow stain to actually stain and not come out patchy. If you see sometimes that your brow stains might be coming out patchy, it's probably because you're not prepping the brows like they need to be prepped. Because most of the time people's skin can tolerate the stain. So when I hear people say, oh, my stain isn't staining or it's not coming out even, ask yourself, are you prepping the skin? So here I'm just taking an exfoliating brush and I'm just scrubbing the brow hairs. Immediately wiping that away with just two 2x2s and throwing those disposable away. Then we're just gonna brush those brows into their natural brow position. I typically do this before I actually start mapping out their brows. So make sure you brush the brows into their natural brow position and get ready to map out their eyebrows. This little tool that I'm using is the brow caliper. So it's a tool that helps you measure out people's eyebrows so that they sit correct on their brow bone and on their face. So I'm just using this caliper to mark the middle of her brow, the bow of her brow, and I typically ask my clients like which brow is your favorite, especially if I see that, you know, they're not really the same. So I just measure the bow of the brow on her right side, measure that distance, and I'm going to replicate it to the other side. And then same thing with getting the arch. So I'm marking a line where her arch is beginning, and I'm putting a line there because I'm going to replicate that on the same for the other side. And everything that I'm using will be linked below. If you're interested in purchasing and you want exactly what I'm using. So like I said, I'm just replicating the other side and placing a line there. I've learned that I like to do a combination of things for the mapping string. I like to do the mapping pen. I like to use the caliper. I like to use the gel method with the gel pen. I like to do an array of things to get the perfect brow mapping for my client. So I'm measuring her arch from her tail to the end of her brow, and then likewise arch to the end of her brow, marking that same position. And like I said, the caliper is just making sure mathematically all of the lines are symmetrical on both sides, because that can be tricky when you have someone who doesn't have similar eyebrows. So again, just measuring, making sure that it's correct, because what you don't want to do is have one arch over higher or one arch lower. That's what you don't want to do. Next, I'm going in and I'm doing an underline of her bottom. So it's a curvature line, almost like a semicircle. And I am underlining the bottom of her brow. So this is just basically a line for me to say the tint, the stain should not go any farther than this line. On both sides, so that it's connecting and then that their brows are again symmetrical. Brow mapping is probably one of my favorite parts of the brow stain procedure. I used to be a little afraid of it because I'm like, oh my gosh, I really don't know what I'm doing. But like I said, you kind of just have to practice and actually try. Don't just go through the motions. Actually try and try to understand why you're doing each step, and you'll eventually grow to have more confidence as to why you're doing the steps to begin with. So now I'm going in with my hybrid stain dye. So this is by Supercilium. So just be sure to check in the comment box to see what I'm using for that. But I am using the Supercilium brow stain. What I love about this brow stain is also infused with keratin, which is really great for helping the hair, keeping it strong and nourishing it. I like to use keratin after brow treatments, especially brow lamination services, so that my clients get the moisture put back into their brow hairs. So I'm using that stain mixed with some cream oxidant, and then I use just a little bamboo stick that you see here in the video with my little glass tint cup. And I'm just using also a duo eyebrow brush. It's an angled brush. I love using those for eyebrow tints because I use the angle towards my advantage. Your brows are already kind of at an angle, so using an angled brush just makes everything much easier. So if you see here, I'm just applying the tint in layers, cleaning it and wiping it off. I actually have roux on that bamboo stick. I'm using a hair color remover. I use roux. I also use the Supercilium color corrector and the color hair removal. Both of those are really great products, but I keep that on a bamboo stick while I'm applying the tint, so that if I do go outside the lines, I can quickly clean it up, because this stain does stain very quickly, so you need to be prepared to fix any imperfections immediately. Now I'm working on the front. So if you want an ombre effect, I definitely recommend doing the back of the brow first, right? Because that's going to get the tint, that's going to get the darker stain. So that portion of the brow, you're going to do it first, and you're also going to do it darker than the front of the brow so that you can create the ombre effect. Now if you're someone who you want to just tint the entire brow the same color, and then after you want to make it an ombre effect, that's completely up to you. But I just find that I use less product this way if I ombre the brows out. So I'm going to do it this way, lightly ombre the front and just make it lighter strokes. Definitely less pigment, less color, less product on the brush. You really don't need a lot. If you can notice on the side of my glass dish, I actually have wiped off a lot of the product when I get to the front part, so you want to wipe off all that product. And if you see, if you notice here in the video, I do have a little bit of extra tint on her skin, or extra stain rather on her skin, but don't worry about it. Once you do a soft wax, a brow soft wax, it's gonna come right off, because soft wax exfoliates, or it actually pulls up the skin as well as the hair, so it is an exfoliant, so don't worry, that'll come right off. And again, just using my bamboo brow stick to clean up the brows. Absolutely love doing brows. I love lashes too, don't get me wrong, but brows are my second love. Alright, now I'm on to her opposite brow, and same thing. We're going to start in the middle towards the back of the brow, applying the tint and color towards the back, and just applying it nice and slow. The first layer that I apply is really just to get the shape similar, as close to the other one as possible, with using my brow points and the mapping that I have, but still same concept. You're starting at the middle of the brow and you're working the product out. You guys, shout out to Bella Brand, by the way. That is my hairstylist. I just got microlinks in for the fall and winter season. She always gets my hair in check, and I just love it. So I'll be sure to tag her in the comments as well if you want to purchase some of her raw hair, because this hair is definitely it. This is not a paid advertisement. This hair is really it. Okay, sharpening up the brows. And honestly, the angled, like I said, my angled brush is my best friend. So if you notice, I'm using the angled brush towards the tail. I have it flipped in the tail position because I'm just using that to create the tail for me, so I don't have to use too much tint or color and try to make my own tail. The stick and the brow brush is what's creating these like perfect symmetrical looks and lines. All about the products you use. I tell people all the time, it's all about the products that you're using. Because me personally, I think the bamboo stick in combination with the duo brush has made, in combination with brow mapping in general, has made my services go by much faster. I know what I'm looking for when I'm doing the brows, and it's just made me a better brow artist, honestly. Alright, and I'm taking my bamboo stick and I'm just cleaning up any excess tint that is going outside of my lines. And brush upwards in the front to create that ombre effect. Sometimes I do this if I've kind of went too far, especially on this side of the brow, because this is my least favorite side to work on. Especially with this side, I do kind of go in the front a little heavier, and then I just ombre it out with the mascara brush. Alright, so now I'm going in and I am cleaning off that excess tint on the top of her brow. Again, I like to use this stick and I just follow the line. I'm following the lines that I've already created within my brow mapping to ensure that the brows are gonna come out symmetrical. And then if I see like any patches that I feel like does not have enough tint or enough stain, I'm gonna go ahead and apply that. Also, I want to be clear, I keep using brow tint and brow stain in the same, you know, scenarios, and they are similar products, but the stain is known for staining the skin as well as the brow hairs, whereas brow tinting is usually just the brow hairs. So there is some slight differences there. Brands might tell you differently, but they do work similarly. So you might hear me talk about them interchangeably as well. Now I'm going in with my Gigi's Soft Wax. I love Gigi's Soft Wax. I will never turn my back on them. This is the Honey Soft Wax. As you know, Soft Wax actually pulls up the skin as well as the hairs. So you can only do one pass with this soft wax, unlike hard wax. So you want to use very minimal soft wax around the brows, and you also want to flatten the wax out as much as possible because soft wax does spread, and what you don't want it to do is spread into your client's brow hairs and into the mapping that you set, because that is the worst. And you'll actually see me do it here on this video on accident on her other brow, and you'll see how I correct it. So apply your strip, pull, and immediately apply pressure. And then I just get any remaining honey wax off of my client. And then apply to the top, and you're gonna do the same thing. Remove and apply pressure. And then I go in at the bottom. I'm using a medium-sized wooden stick. I do see some artists use the small wooden sticks. I've tried them and it just does not work for me. So you have to find what actually works for you. These sticks size might not work for you, but they're perfect for me because I feel like I have large hands, and I don't know, I just think my hands are big, so I can't bother with the little wax sticks, but we do retail those inside Lash Queen, so I'll be sure to link those below. Okay, so I just did the bottom of her other brow, and then now I'm going into the top. If you notice, I actually let the wax drop onto the skin before I glide it. I do this because it makes it so easy for me to push the wax in the direction that I wanted to and flatten it. And you'll actually see here, I was scared that I was going to go into her brow line because I had got so close. So I just go in with the medium size stick and I just flatten it out and make sure it's okay. and then apply your strip. Once you see the wax come through the strip, it's ready to be pulled. Hold the skin tight on the opposite side and pull. So if you notice, I did leave a little bit of wax there. I did that on purpose because I was afraid that I might accidentally pull up too far into her hairs, but you'll see me correct this a little bit later. Now I'm going with her some more wax down her tail side, and I like to start farther away from the brow and then work the wax closer, just so you don't go too far inwards into the brow or too far into their hairs up here. Apply that strip, apply some pressure, and once you see the wax pull through or the wax show through the strip, you're going to pull in the opposite direction and apply pressure. Then last but not least, we have the glabella area, so we're always supposed to do this part last. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of wax, soft wax here, and apply a nylon strip. Pull in the opposite direction and apply pressure. Okay, and now it's time to remove the stain. So sometimes on certain skin types, micellar water is perfect to, you know, scrub the stain off. I tried to use micellar water in the first go round with this wipe and it just was not coming off, y'all. I'm not gonna lie, this stain is staining, okay? So I ended up just going back in with some lash cleanser. Before I did that though, I did take that disposable razor and I just went right along where that wax was, just so I could clean that up and make sure I did not go too far into her brows with the wax. Wipe that clean. And just brush upwards. I like to brush, especially if I'm going to trim. I'm going to brush the brows upward into their natural brow shape. But the tint was not, the stain was not coming off, y'all. I was putting the micellar water on and it was not coming off. So I'm like, okay. I took some lash cleanser again and I just scrubbed those brows right on clean. Here is me going in with my Global Esthetician tweezers and I'm just trimming the brows. She didn't really have a lot to trim, but I just wanted to, you know, trimming really cleans the brows and just makes them look so good. And trimming the other side. Then I'm going to take some concealer. So this is the concealer palette, brow palette by Edith Lilly, and I'm using a liner brush, an angled brush to go under the brow. I will say, after watching this, this is my mom, by the way, and she wanted me to use this color. I would have used something, I wanted to mix the colors. I know now I'm not gonna let her bully me in my studio. I'm gonna do the color I want. So the next time I do a concealer on her brow, I'm gonna mix this color with another lighter color just to give it that really nice highlighted brow that I want to give it. But you know, my mom, she's used to doing her brows, if she doesn't get them stained, she's used to doing them, so she's like, no, I want it, that's too light. And then I just kind of buff that out with another, this is like a concealer brush. I just go ahead and buff that right on out. And do the same thing to the other side. And then now I'm going in with some post oil. So this is just a product that I use after applying or after a wax. I like to use this product so that it just nourishes the brow hairs and also cools the skin off as like a post-inflammatory, so that the skin doesn't get kind of aggravated, because I did just do a wax with soft wax on it. Like I said, it is just freshly exfoliated, so you want to make sure you do that. So my mom actually likes for me to hybrid dye her brows darker so that they can last much longer for her. So always keep some hair cooler, a hair developer or remover around in the event that your client is not crazy about having her brows done so dark. But I like to do my stains darker so that it does last my client a while and it does fade. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this brow stain hybrid dye tutorial, and I will see you in the next one.